Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisance of Shri Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to today's class. Today we continue with Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, verse 12. And we are in a discussion where the bull Dharma is asking questions to the cow. And we are in a very, March Parikshit is questioning the bull. We have passed that situation. Now March Parikshit has encountered the bull. And March Parikshit is asking the bull the status of his leg, why what's happening with the state of the kingdom. And we're very happy to have His Holiness Candramauli Swami with us. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance. So all glories to you and Shri Prabhupada.
Hey, voice of Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
My obeisances to all the devotees. Vanchakalpa Darubhischa Kripa Sindhu Be Bachapti Tanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kovriskatava padam strim saudaveya chatuspada ma bhuvam stvadrisam rastre Rajna Krishna Nuvartinam. Translation. He, Maharaj Parikshit, repeatedly addressed and questioned the bull thus, O son of Sarabi, who has cut off your 3 legs? In the state of the kings who are obedient to the laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, there is no one as unhappy as you. Purport. The kings, or the executive heads of all states, must know the codes of Lord Krishna. Generally, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, they must act according in order to fulfill the mission of human life, which is to make an end of all miseries of material conditions. One who knows the codes of Lord Krishna can achieve this end without difficulty. In the Bhagavad Gita, in a synopsis, we can understand the codes of Godhead. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the same codes are explained further. In the state where the codes of Krishna are followed, no one is unhappy. Where such codes are not followed, the first sign is that the 3 legs of the representative of religion are cut off, and thereby all miseries follow. When Krishna was personally present, the codes of Krishna were being followed without question, but in his absence, such codes are presented in the pages of Bhagavatam for the guidance of the blind persons who happen to be at the helm of all affairs. Gyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Sirakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Name Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvasesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya De Satarne Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Vipa Sindhu Veva Chapatitaram Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The bull represents Dharma, or Dharma means the codes of religion. And there are many, but there are 4 who are outstanding. Those 4 codes are mercifulness, truthfulness, austerity, cleanliness. These are the 4 main codes of religion. Here, the red bull representing Dharma, or religion, religious principles, 3 of those legs have been destroyed. Cleanliness, austerity, mercifulness are gone, even as we begin the age of Kali. This is just after the time of Lord Krishna's disappearance. when Krishna was personally present, those codes and principles were very much intact, and people were happy because of that. Now, when Krishna left the planet, Kali Yuga takes its opportunity to come in and change the whole situation with lying, cheating, nepotism, exploitative programs done by those in a position of leadership, and various other programs, greed, lust, envy. All of these qualities start to permeate the social environment, and people become unhappy. And when people are unhappy, then everything goes to hell. And as Prabhupada said here, no one was unhappy when Krishna was gone, but following when Krishna was there, when he was gone, everyone now experiences the unhappiness. But it's mentioned in the very beginning of Bhagavatam in the 3rd chapter, verse number 43, that Krishna is personally God, but he's still personally present in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is called the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it enacts the actual codes of religion, and therefore it's none different than Krishna. So in the absence of the personal presence of the Lord, that Bhagavatam remains as the foundation by which religious principles are followed. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, when he started this Krishna consciousness movement, the first thing he brought from India was the first canto of Bhagavatam in 3 different volumes. Before any other book, Bhagavatam was appeared as the foundation for the Krishna Consciousness Society. Even before Gita, before any of the books that we know of now, Bhagavatam accompanied Prabhupada on his trip from India to the Western world. And therefore, Prabhupada was bringing Krishna in the form of literary knowledge. And those who follow Bhagavatam actually associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore are freed from the miseries that are very much prominent in the age of Kali. This age, Kalir Dosha Nidhi Rajana Asti Eko Mahagun Kirtana Eva Krishna Sya Mukta Sangha Pradam Bhajan. This age is a very degraded age. It's followed by so many bad qualities. And even those who are not practicing these bad qualities, they are affected by these qualities simply by the environment of the age of Kali. It's very bad. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada, when he started the Krishna conscious movement, he made Bhagavatam classes a regulated program of daily discussion. Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam that one who regularly hears Bhagavatam, all of one's material attachments, desires are practically destroyed, and loving service to the Supreme Lord begins to appear in the heart of the practitioner. And as they follow the process, eventually Bhagavatam will lead one along with the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. These 2 features of transcendental practice, knowledge, glorification of the Lord, in both cases, one in literary form, and Bhagavatam doesn't deal with anything that is not pure devotional service. That's why it's called Amalam Purana. It's the pure Purana. There's no of the Purusharthas. Purushartha means the ways of the world, which are mentioned in the scriptures as dharma, pious activities, artha, for practicing different kinds of programs in order to develop economic development. In other words, getting the foundation by which one can live. And then enjoying that foundation, kama, or sense gratification. And then when that reaches a certain stage, then people want out, and then there is moksha. So these four purusharthas, the ways of the world, are very much prominent everywhere. But then there is purushartham siromani, that purushartha, which is the crest jewel of all, which is the golden throne of the Lord, by which the Lord sits upon and gives transcendental knowledge. And what is that? That is Srimad Bhagavatam, which deals with pure devotional service. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti ahoksaje hoituki apriyata yatma suprasidati. This is one of the first instructions in the Bhagavatam, in the first canto, first canto, second chapter, verse number 6, describes that this practice of devotional service is the benefit of all humankind. There is no other benefit that can simply sweep away all of the miseries of the material energy, and at the same time move one towards the actual goal of life, and that is to develop loving devotional service for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So those who regularly read and hear Srimad Bhagavatam will always be in the same position to understand what is the goal of life and how to achieve it. And at the same time will always be sheltered away from the miseries that come by way of living in the material world. And those miseries come automatically. And then Prabhupada mentions Gita also, Gita and Bhagavatam. Gita is preliminary. In Gita, Krishna establishes who he is, what is his position as the supreme source of all existence, who we are, the living entities, who are part and parcel, what is that verse from the 15th chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto, verse number, first 15th chapter, verse number 7. What is it? Karshati is the last word in the thing. All living entities are my parts and parcels. They're struggling with material nature. So in that verse, Krishna establishes who we are as the Ahambrija Pita Pita. I am the seed-giving father of all life. And of the 8,400,000 species of life, they're all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. They have an eternally loving relationship. And therefore, Krishna established himself. Who are the living entities, and what is our relationship with him? What is this material energy consisting of the three modes of material nature, and how those modes affect the living entity in three different categories of activities? And ultimately, how those modes work under the influence of the time factor. And then ultimately, the activities of the conditioned soul, which are called karma. So these are the 5 categories by which Bhagavad Gita is actually understood. And you don't get into the higher knowledge of Krishna's relationship with his parts and parcels in the different rasas, the different relationships, until you get into Srimad Bhagavatam. And then it's described the different incarnations of the Lord. Ete chamsam kalumpumsam Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam. That all the incarnations or mentions are parts of the plenty portions of the plenty portion of Krishna. But Krishna is the supreme source of all existence. Ishwar Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Govinda Sarva Karna. He is, there's no one equal to, no one is greater to him. He is the original personality of Godhead, by which all of the other forms of the Godhead manifest. and he is the cause of all causes. Behind all of the causes in the material world, he is that remote cause, which is the initiating cause of all causes. Now, Krishna then establishes his position in relationship to the living entity in the principle of devotional service. And then, of course, the whole principle of how this material energy works, how she is a maidservant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how she's a reflection of his reality in order to delude the conditioned souls to think that activities in the material world will bring them happiness, peace, and satisfaction. And she also encourages them through various types of activities to perform material things, material activities. And according to the desires that the living entity has, a particular mode of the nature appears, and a person gets a particular reaction according to the nature of that desire, which connects with a particular mode, goodness, passion, and ignorance. So if we read and study and try to understand this Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, of course, Bhagavad Gita is preliminary, but it's necessary. And Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, Bhagavatam ultimately ends with the activities of Krishna in the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the lovable cowherd boy in Sri Vrindavan Dham. This is the highest knowledge given, and this is the highest principle of the absolute truth, that Krishna performs his activities in the material world, which are reflections of his activities in the spiritual world, where he enjoys loving relationships with his devotees in different types of relationships based on the nature of that living entity's connection with Krishna. So if we carefully read Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada mentions in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a very nice verse. He says we must read all of the books that have been delivered by Prabhupada, such as Nectar Devotion, Sri Upanishads, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and ultimately Chaitanya Charitamrita. He mentions these books. We must read all of these books. He said if we don't read these books, we will lose the opportunity for transcendental life. We will fall down again into the process of taking care of the body as the main activity. So it's necessary, and it is also the way out of this miserable material world, to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. Bhagavatam is the sunam bonum. It's the essence of that process of hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. In fact, the whole Bhagavatam is centered around the glories of the Supreme Lord and the glories of the personalities who serve the Lord in pure devotional service, the great souls, the sadhus, the spiritual masters. And all knowledge is there in Bhagavatam. And we are now in the first canto, which is really the foundation for the rest of Bhagavatam. As we go into the second canto, Krishna will very carefully describe what is the essence of this Bhagavatam knowledge, how it was given to Lord Brahma in the beginning of creation, how Brahma used this knowledge to unfold the creation, and how this knowledge is foundational in order for us to understand Krishna in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So in Bhagavatam, there are 10 subject matters: the creation, the subcreation, the movements of the living entities, the protection by the Lord, the manus, the different incarnations of the Lord, and ultimately the asraya, which is Krishna. He is the sunam bonum, or everything centers around glorification and service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there's no greater and more complete and more glorious explanation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the process by which to realize Him than Srimad Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam sometimes is called Paramahansa Samhita. It is meant for those on the highest platform of spiritual life. But by the grace of the Srila Prabhupada, he has taken this very difficult to understand knowledge and spent hours and hours, days and days, giving us the Bhaktivedanta purports. In these purports, he very carefully explains each and every verse and how this verse relates to the process of pure devotional service. It's essential that everyone read Bhagavatam daily. It's not an option. It's a nasta prayeshu abhajati nityam bhagavata sevaya. Nityam means eternal. And that sevaya that comes by way of understanding Srimad Bhagavatam is eternal. And therefore one must hear every day the process of pure devotional service as explained from Srimad Bhagavatam. So it says here, in the absence of such codes, when Krishna was personally present, the pages of Bhagavatam remain the guidance for people in this age, especially those who are at the helm of the affairs of human society. So if the leaders take up this knowledge of Bhagavatam and apply it for the rest of the society, then gradually a transformation of consciousness will occur and people will start to free themselves from all of the suffering that comes in this material world. To suffer is unnatural, to be happy is natural, but no one in the material world is happy because they have accepted the process of suffering as the means to become happy. The process of suffering, as Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, yehi samsparsaja boga, dukkha yoniya evate, avantavanta kuntaya, lateshu ramate buddha. Krishna says that sense gratification is the source of suffering. And he makes that very clear, that sense satisfaction comes by execution of devotional service. The senses are there, they're given to the living entity to use. If the living entity uses the senses simply to enjoy the objects of the senses in the form of, sight, sound, touch, smell, what else? What else? There's one more, taste. All of these are the 5 sense objects. If that becomes the only focus of the living entity, then they are actually taking up a program of suffering, because the senses are meant to be used for the service of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Krishna is called Rishikesh, the master of the senses. And so if we use the senses in the service of the master of the senses become purified, and there is not sense gratification, there is sense satisfaction. In other words, one becomes happy simply by using their senses in the service of the Lord. The senses cannot be stopped, but they have to be guided towards the goal of life, which is self-realization. And all of that knowledge, which is a foundational to understand how to achieve that, is there in these 2 scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. So, and Srila Prabhupada, as a personality who worked very hard to give us these scriptures, was spending hours each day. Prabhupada would take rest. He would tell us, he said, I used to take rest between 10:30 and 11 o'clock every night. And I would sleep to about 12:30, an hour and a half the most. And he would get up and then he would begin his translation of Bhagavatam and studying the acharyas and commentaries on the Bhagavatam. Prabhupada had a book of the previous acharyas, such as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Jiva Goswami, his own spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, also, and many other. There were 7 acharyas. Prabhupada would study their texts based on the verses that he was working on, and then he would come to some understanding, and then he would add his own realization for the Western understanding, the Western mentality. And Prabhupada gave his life to give us these books practically. He wanted us not only to read these books, he wanted us to understand them, and he also wanted us to distribute them for the benefit of the human society. Bhagavatam is the best. It says if all the books in the world were no longer available, if Bhagavatam was there, there would be no loss. Sometimes it's mentioned that that same statement refers to Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is also true because Chaitanya Charitamrita, in one sense, is Bhagavatam. It is the life of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself in the role of his own pure devotee. So Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita remain the glorious scriptures in this age for getting into the higher knowledge which is necessary for our understanding of our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the process by which to achieve that relationship ultimately, and then to get out of this cycle of birth and death. Mayadavase, Kachobese, Kachoho Bubu Buvai. That the living entity is being tossed life after life. We don't think, well, yeah, I'm okay. I'm in this, I have some difficulties. Yeah, it's fine. I'll just have to learn how to deal with it and get over it. But to take birth is unnatural. To live in this world and struggle is unnatural. To die is unnatural. To get sick, disease is unnatural. It's all foreign to the soul's existence. It has nothing to do with the living entity. But because the living entity is accepting a material body, all of these things are thrown upon them as they try to struggle in this material world to enjoy some kind of flickering and temporary happiness. So there's a way out of this cycle of samsara, misery, life after life, and different species of life. Ultimately, one doesn't know, just like we don't know. What will about my next life be? Where will I go? Who will I be? Who will be my parents? What will be my activities? Will I have a human form or not? So no one knows, but there is a way to indicate that when one takes to the process of pure devotional service, one is guaranteed elevation to a higher state of consciousness and ultimately back home, back to Godhead, which is the ultimate goal. And even if one does not make it in one life, still, whatever they achieve in this life through the process of devotional service based on the teachings of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, that remains eternal within the life and heart of the devotee. It's never lost, even in the next birth. And as we make advancement, then eventually we'll achieve the process. Because to love God is natural. Jiver Sarupai Krishna Nityadas. Every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. No matter what body the living entity may be in, their love for Krishna is natural. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, Sarukabumnoi, Shravanadi Siddhi Chitte, Kodiye Uday. This is a statement from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which says that in the hearts of all living entities, pure love for Krishna is there. Everyone wants happiness. Everyone wants relationships. The ultimate principle of happiness and relationship is the foundation by which we live. And what is that relationship? Our relationship with the Supreme Lord. As we develop that relationship with the Supreme Lord through service to the Supreme Lord, that carries itself to all of our relationships in this world. Then we actually have a genuine relationship with every other living entity because it's based on the essential truth that all living beings are spiritual beings, and that relationship is eternally there in the hearts of everyone. So as we serve the Lord and associate with others who are also serving the Lord, we develop loving relationships not only with Krishna, but with his parts and parcels also. That is automatic. So this verse Parikshit Maharaj wants to get to the root of why Dharma is no longer in a very good state. He can see, he knows ahead of time, but still he's questioning Dharma to hear from Dharma. And then you'll see this chapter is really goes into some really interesting polemics about the process of suffering. What is suffering? What is the cause of suffering? And how to overcome that suffering. These verses coming up, starting with verse number 17, I think, in this chapter, and going all the way up to verse number 23, is a very nice discussion of what is suffering and what is the cause of suffering, and ultimately how to get out of it. Because if you ask everyone or anyone, and even amongst great souls, what is the cause of suffering, you'll get different answers, because it's such a difficult subject to approach in a very clear way. But the essence of the suffering is that we have a material body and we're in the material world. That's the foundation by which all suffering begins and eventually evolves to other stages of suffering. So here, this knowledge is like a sword. It cuts through the illusions of material existence and gives one a clear vision of reality. Krishna mentions that in the Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter. And knowledge is like a sword. It destroys, cuts, releases one from the process of birth and death. So knowledge, transcendental knowledge, is coming from the Supreme Lord into the hearts of the pure devotees, the spiritual masters. And they make that knowledge available through their books, through their words, through their life's example. And then if we associate with this knowledge through literary channels, or if we associate with the spiritual masters directly and hear from them, gradually we can free ourselves from this process of birth and death in this material world. So all the solutions of all the problems are there within the process of pure devotional service. And the knowledge of that pure devotional service is given in Srimad Bhagavatam in 9 different processes, beginning with hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. Shravanam Kirtanam. Out of all of the process of bhakti, 9 stages, hearing, chanting, remembering, worshiping, praying, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, serving, carrying out orders of the Lord, becoming a friend of the Lord, and surrendering everything. The most important is to hear about the Lord. Srinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Sravanam Kirtanaha Ridyanto Avadarani Vidyanoti Ritsatam. When Krishna sees that the devotee is really eager to hear about him, he enters within the heart of the devotee and cuts away all of the illusions that are keeping that devotee from self-realization. Krishna actually becomes an active principle in releasing us from this illusion when we have a strong desire to hear. And that hearing leads to ultimately chanting. Because as you hear, you gain knowledge. When you get that knowledge, you take it and you repeat it. As you repeat it for the benefit of others and for yourself, then remembrance follows automatically. It's a process. First you hear, then you chant, then you remember. When you remember, you are on the spiritual platform. Remembering is the process by which one completes the process of self-realization. And the ultimate principle is to always remember Krishna. That is the ultimate principle of devotional service, to always remember Krishna and to never forget Krishna. As it says in the scriptures, there are 2 rules and regulations which are the foundation for all of the other rules and regulations. And these two are mentioned as always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. These two principles, when they're followed, all other religious principles become automatically included in these two. One who remembers Krishna. And then, of course, at the time of death, Krishna says, one who remembers me automatically attains to my kingdom. Taktva deham purna janmani naiptimam eti sorjuna. One goes back home, back to the spiritual world. So the process is joyful, but one must commit themselves to the process of hearing and chanting, as given in Srimad Bhagavatam, is explained in Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion is given by Srila Rupa Goswami. He has given us the whole science of how the process of bhakti should be executed, the different stages that we achieve in that execution, and ultimately the ultimate goal, the goal, and that is Prema Pumartha Maham, ultimately coming to the process of loving Krishna in devotional service. So it's a joyful process. Srila Prabhupada has given us everything we need, and especially his greatest gift is Srimad Bhagavatam. As it's mentioned here, it is the means by which we can associate with Krishna directly through transcendental knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Oops. I'm sorry, Maharaj. I had to use my daughter's Mac and it's, wait. Oops. I'm sorry, Maharaj. I had to use my daughter's Mac because but the other laptop is not working and I'm so new to this machine that I'm having a little struggle here. So please forgive me, Maharaj. Thank you for such a wonderful class, Maharaj. I do have a question or two, but I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to request devotees, if you can please show your videos so that we can see each other. And at the same time, if you have any questions, please do raise your hand. Yes, Sridevi, go ahead.
Thank you, Anasuya. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, on this process of bhakti, hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, how do we know that we are making good amount of advancement, or if we are too slow or even stuck? How do we know, how we are doing basically? What is the way to judge?
The process is given in forms of symptoms. You develop certain symptoms. Just like if you have a disease, and there are certain symptoms that accompany the disease. Such as if you have a cold, you might cough, you might have chest congestion, you might have headaches, so many things. So as you take the medicine, gradually it works to remove the disease and the symptoms start to disappear. So the disease is the desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. That is the disease. And that's why the material world is presented as an opportunity to fulfill the conditioned soul's desire to be separate from Krishna. So as those symptoms start to decrease, we can see we're getting back to our healthy state of spiritual knowledge, spiritual consciousness. So look for those symptoms. What are some of the symptoms? That one loses their taste for material activities. One is eager to associate with and serve the devotees. One is eager to follow the process by chanting. One is no longer disturbed by the happiness and distress that comes by way of living in this material world. So the Bhagavatam especially, and of course, even in the Gita, many of the symptoms of material life are there, and he mentions it. And as they go, that means we're moving closer to our pure state of consciousness. So you look for those disappearance of the symptoms. And as I mentioned, one becomes more and more happy. One becomes more and more peaceful. Of course, that goes along with happiness. And one becomes more and more inclined to the activities of devotional service. These are symptomatic of the decrease of the material fever. Material fever means to do whatever I can to fulfill my desires to enjoy in this material world, centered around family, society, country, nation, international, so many philanthropical, familial, various social, communal types of activities, which seems to support the idea that I can be happy in this material world. Like that. When we lose all of these desires gradually, just like sometimes people say to me, wow, since I've took to Krishna consciousness, what I used to do, I don't feel like it anymore. It's kind of pale. I have no taste for it anymore. So their previous activities start to fade, and there's a type of what we say feeling of maybe almost not necessarily disgust, but feeling of indifference to material activities like that. But a devotee in a material world will sometimes do material activities, but they do it as a routine in order to maintain the body, that's all. The materialists do all the material activities to get something from it, which will support their ideas for happiness in this material world. So devotees are not like that. They simply want to serve the Lord, hear about, chant, associate with devotees, and take opportunities to serve in any way they can. And then they become happy. If you don't follow the process and you want to become happy, it's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. You can't do it. It doesn't work. Follow the process. But as Rupa Goswami says, Utsahan Nisayam Daryat Tat Tat Karma Pavartana. He says enthusiasm, determination, patience. These are the characteristics by how one executes devotional service. With enthusiasm, not with blasé or some, routine mindset. No, one becomes enthusiastic to serve. One becomes eager. One thinks, wow, if I can serve nicely, maybe Krishna will give me some mercy and I'll be able to free myself from all of this useless activities that surround my life. The devotee becomes eager to make advancement. Ultimately, they become eager to see Krishna face to face. That's in the higher stages. When we begin, it's all about our service. When we develop higher consciousness, it's all about Krishna. It starts off with service, then Krishna becomes the object of everything we do. No longer just the service anymore.
Hope that helps, Sridevi.
Yes, thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
Very nice question, though. Really nice question. Thank you. Yes, Raj Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to yourself, all glories to all of the devotees. Maharaj, I wanted to understand in a bit more detail about how this magic works from these books. If we were consistently endeavoring to read each day alongside chanting and hearing and service, etc., how is it that these words from the page can enter our minds and transform our consciousness? Is it something to do with at some stage divine energy transforms the words on the page into changes within us, or gives us realizations.
We use the example of medicine and how it rids one of the symptoms of the disease. So in the same way as this knowledge enters into the consciousness, it awakens within us our position in relationship to Krishna and to everything else in this material world. That's why the first principle of knowledge is Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita. He takes a very extensive and elaborate explanation of the difference between the soul and the body, between matter and spirit, between that which is temporary, that which is eternal. So that's the foundation by which transcendental knowledge begins, and then everything is built upon that principle. I am not this body, I am a spiritual being. And then as that knowledge comes, then we become more and more aware of our true identity. And then we start acting in a very regular way on our true identity. We serve the Lord, and service to the Lord is, as Krishna says, Daivi Gunamaya. It's Daivi, it's transcendental. It's not part of this material world.
Thank you, Maharaj. Is it even possible for us to understand the words of the Bhagavatam or any of the other books by ourselves, or are we dependent on some form of divine mercy to help us understand?
The divine mercy is, of course, the mercy of the spiritual master, but it manifests in the form of sadhu sangha. Therefore, it says, Bodhyantas parasparam kutyantas chimam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So we get together as a group and we hear and chant the glories of the Lord. We listen to the Bhagavatam, we get realizations, we share these realizations with others. And gradually we grow in that knowledge. So sadhu sangha, or association with devotees, is the foundation by which all of the processes begin and develop and ultimately reach perfection. So one must regularly take association with other devotees. That is important. If not important, it's essential. When you say something is important, you may do it or you don't do it. But when you say something is essential, if you don't do it, then you miss out on something very valuable. Essential is not something that you choose. It must be done. Important, you understand, yes, I should do it, and it's beneficial. But sometimes you miss the important thing. But the essential things you can't miss. And so devotee association is essential.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Raj Prabhu. Very nice question to you.
When you come into Mayapur, Raj?
Raj Prabhu, you're on mute.
We're waiting for you.
I fly on the 21st. I'll be there on the 22nd.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. We'll be happy to meet you when you come, and then I'm sure you'll have a nice experience. 22nd you arrive, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Good, good, good. Thank you.
Very well, very nice. Dr. Brett, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm on the road right now to work, Maharaj. Please give me your forgiveness if I sound a little choppy. Try to speak clearly. Maharaj, I had a question about the process of preaching, if that's okay. I believe with all you said about studying Bhagavatam and studying Gita, it kind of comes hand in hand. it's based off of the experience I had this weekend, if it's okay if I can ask that.
Yeah,
Okay, Maharaj, so in Philadelphia, we have, our inner city program, Bhakti Garden, and every now and then, we have the mercy of attracting some college students and that to come to the temple and spend time with us. And lately we've been getting a few that have been, ecstatic to come to Mangala Arati. So this past, and for me, Maharaj, it's been, very, very pleasing, a great feeling to see these aspiring devotees come out to Mangala Arati. But at the same time, for me, Maharaj, it's been a little challenging in the path of bhakti, in the shape of the way they approach me with questions that, I myself may have not been. Maharaj, as we were going into Tulsi Arati, I had this aspiring devotee that's been coming for a brief time, pull me aside quickly during Tulsi Arati and say, basically, hey, what's the significance of the plant? And Maharaj, my mind immediately went to, past times of Vrinda Devi and Tulsi and just the translations of the prayer we offered. But I, in that quick moment of trying to figure out what to say, I didn't know exactly what to say. And I sort of, gave this discussion, quick discussion on how, Tulsi is just something basically we can offer anything to Krishna. I gave him a little, I just said, so many people can offer auspicious things to Krishna, but, here's something simple. And then at the end of that, I kind of said, but Prabhu, there's better devotees like His Grace Acharya that I'm sure would be happy to explain more to you. And this young man, he said, oh, that makes sense. I understand. That's, that's wonderful, Tulsi. But Maharaj, my question is, after the fact, I kept racking in my mind, should I have said anything to this devotee? Should I have immediately went to bite my tongue and been like, oh, Prabhu, this is a question for another devotee? But all in all, it only inspired me more to go home and meditate on the question and, read more on Vrinda Devi, read on Tulsi, and just kind of, better myself for the future when it comes to preaching and reflect on these questions I get and kind of have a better understanding. But Maharaj, should I have not given this devotee any sort of insight and just pointed to him to another devotee, or was my thinking okay in this moment? Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
well, you mentioned that he was satisfied, didn't you?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, he's very happy, and then stayed through Tulsi Arati all the way up to Guru Puja. Chanted briefly with us during drop hour, so it seemed as if so he was.
No, he was satisfied, that's all that counts. I would have postponed the question till after the Tulsi Arati. That's what I would have did. Went on with the Tulsi Arati instead of trying to speak about it during the Arati. I would explain, yes, very good question, thank you. And I'll explain everything right after the worship is over. And I would have did that. That was the only difference. But somehow you were successful. At least initially.
Thank you, Maharaj, and I will absolutely keep that in mind for next time. Make that point.
When we're in the middle of the worship, we don't stop to explain the worship. We try to keep our attention on the worship and encourage those who are in the worship to do the same. And then if they have questions that come up during the worship, you just say, oh yeah, I'm happy. We can get together right after and I'll explain everything. And that'll give you time to think about it too.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes, I will absolutely do that from now on. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Because it mentions that really one should not do anything during the worship service but worship. It's considered to be, of course, when it comes from people on the outside, we make some exceptions, but generally we stay with the worship, we absorb ourselves in the worship.
That was a very nice point, Marge. Thank you so much. That was a very big reminder, because sometimes I do come across situations during the worship, there's always something going on besides the worship. So that was
Well,
nice.
you know, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhurya Kandambini explains, you know, that these things are actually deviations in bhakti. And he gives some very strong reprimands for those who take to that process of talking or discussing while the process of worship is in progress, you know. If you're there and you're in there to worship, then you worship. You want to talk, you make time for that at another time. And
Yes,
so
Raj.
sometimes, because people don't know, so I always try to say, I'll speak to you a little later. It's not a good time to talk now. Very politely refuse to, you know, get into a conversation then.
Yes, Marge. Really, really good point. Thank you. Sri Devi, please go ahead, Mataji.
Thank you, Anasuya. Guru Maharaj, again, my humble submission is this. Supposing as we are carrying out the different activities of bhakti, we are waking up, we are chanting, we are hearing, we're going to the temple, attending class, then we are doing some little service and so on and so on. And we still find at the end of the day that we are not feeling very satisfied. There's a nagging feeling, I should be doing more. I should be doing more. I am not doing enough. Is that something which is saying time for you to step up and do something more? Or it is something just, mental concoction?
What do you think?
I think I should be doing something more.
Okay, you got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was a very catch-22 question, Sri Devi.
She's asking for the benefit of everyone else.
Absolutely. Because we all go through that, I'm sure. Absolutely. Very nice question, Sri Devi. Thank you for asking that, because we all benefited from it. Any questions from devotees, please do ask. Marge, I have a question that I was asked this morning by a devotee, and I just did not respond yet. And I'm trying to think how to respond, but I wanted to ask you, Marge, as this devotee is shared a little YouTube clip by His Holiness, I'm trying to remember the last, Marge, is the tall sannyasi from UK, Keshava Swami? What's the?
Bhagavan Keshava.
Yes. And it's very nice, where he said that if you want, it's always in many words in his little YouTube clip, whatever you call that. He's saying that if we want to do things, do it with devotees rather than alone, that the concept is if you want to walk fast, then you walk alone. If you want to walk slow, then you walk with many. And this devotee was sharing with me how he has realized that he feels like a lone fighter and he needs people around him. The community is great, the devotees are great, but I cannot, I need people around me like he does better in groups because he lives on his own. And what is coming to my mind, Maharaj, is I'm thinking of different, incidences from devotees who've actually, pushed on the movement or engaged in service as lone spiritual warriors, lack of a better word. And somehow, by the mercy of, Guru Goranga, it attracts more people. And I'm thinking, but each one of us come alone and leave alone. So how, Maharaj, can I help this devotee to really see that? Because I feel like he thinks that he does better in a group, but life is not always like that, right, Maharaj?
It says, let's see, there's a statement in relationship to what you said. You have to be Krishna conscious alone, and you have to be Krishna conscious in the group. In other words, if you're not Krishna conscious in the group, then you might see, well, what's lacking? Because really, both are there. And devotees take shelter of the association of other devotees to execute devotional service. But then there is, alone means when you chant japa, sometimes, especially for those who live outside of the temple, we chant in a very, secluded type of environment where there's just myself, maybe one or two family members around, and sometimes it's just one. So if you're dependent on the group, that's one thing, and if you're dependent on being outside of the group, that's another. So the idea is that you have to be Krishna conscious in both. And you have to take the advantage of the association of devotees. And when you do, then when you're alone, you can remain Krishna conscious. If you don't take the association of devotees, then you won't be able to remain Krishna conscious by yourself. So,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
So Marge, we have to take advantage of devotee association so that we can be Krishna conscious alone.
Yeah, because we get inspiration from others. We get opportunities for service. We get correction from our wrong activities in the association of devotees. All of these things are there. When you're alone, who's there to correct you? Your own mind. You're not necessarily going to be always successful.
Marge, I'm so glad I asked this question before answering this devotee. I'm so glad because I was just.
How many pictures of Krishna do you see where Krishna is alone?
Hardly. None.
Krishna is always with his devotees. But he doesn't need to be with others. If he's so-called alone, he's fully enlightened in his position as the Supreme Lord. But enjoyment comes when there are many. The process of enjoyment is enhanced in the association of devotees. This is the point.
Process essence is enhanced. Okay. And Marge, how when this devotee tells me, I'm not a senior, great devotee, I'm not a lone fighter, I need people around me, what's coming to my mind is, Marge, of course, we definitely cannot be like Srila Prabhupada because he's the pure devotee of the Lord, ambassador. But Srila Prabhupada used to always say, Marge, that when he came to America, he was alone. But then he was never alone because he always had a spiritual master. And of course, we are not at this level, definitely not, and we can't be like him. But how can we learn from that, Maharaj? I'm just trying to think how to help this guy.
Well, that's fine. If he wants the association of devotees, encourage that. That's good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. If that's what he needs, hey, and that's how he feels more happier and more stronger in Krishna consciousness. Yeah, good. That's good.
I think much his challenge is, he's a baby in the family. He grew up with people around him. So he's been like pampered and spoiled kind of a thing in that kind of environment. So he always wants people to feel like it's a house full, like that whole satisfying feeling that I have people around me kind of a thing. That's which
there's the other side of that this is the only way I can get sense gratification is when I'm with other people. So like I say, in being Krishna conscious, you have to be Krishna conscious without the association. You have to be Krishna conscious in the association. Both. So if you're only,
I'm writing my
if you
notes
only-
down as,
if you're only Krishna consciousness in the association, that is neophyte, and that's good. It's necessary. But if you find yourself not having association, what are you going to do? You're going to lose your Krishna consciousness? You're going to forget about everything that you learned? No.
got it, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj, for helping me. I was just making the notes down. Thank you so much. I'm so glad I asked this question. Thank you.
Yeah, like he said, he's a baby in Krishna consciousness, so
Yeah.
give him as much association as he desires. That's good. Then after a while, as he grows in that association, he'll be able to be outside of the association and still be Krishna conscious.
Mhm. Yes, Marge. Thank you so much, Marge. Thank you so much. I feel so much better now. Thank you. Namrata, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances of glories to Srila Prabhupada. Just wondering on what Manasuya Mataji was speaking, and I was thinking, if a introvert person, if the introvert person is doing Krishna consciousness, is it necessary for the person to be extrovert first for performing it? Because that's a kind of nature.
Well, if he's introverted, then more of his activities will be in that mood. But you can't just cut yourself off from people, even in the material world. There's people always around you. So introvert means, all right, they're more inclined to reading, they're more inclined to chanting, they're more inclined to, doing things in Krishna consciousness that require no other assistance around, such as cooking. You can cook by yourself. So that introverted person will be more inclined to services that don't require other devotees. But still, you can't say you can't live like that, because there's always, we're social beings. That's a fact. Everyone has that social element. And those who deny that and try to fight against it, they're never happy. And one thing you learn in the association of devotees is you have, in order to associate devotees, you have to be humble. You can't associate with devotees if you're not humble, because you won't be able to stay in that association. So association allows that quality of humility to develop more and more, which is one of the main qualities by which we execute devotional service.
So I asked this question because, Guru Maharaj, I think I am like that. And
Yeah, you're an artist. Artists are always introverted. Because you're an artist. Artists are introverted generally because they can do things without the assistance of others, because they have that what we say, that acumen, that talent to create things. And because of that nature you have, you are a little bit less inclined to crowds. If you come to Mayapur, you're going to get a nice awakening. I'll protect you, don't worry. Sri Devi will protect you also. Somadatri will give you special care.
so I know my Guru Maharaj devotees, my wonderful God brothers and sisters will protect me. But I'm just talking about myself. It's like I associate with devotees, and then again I go back to my shell again. And
That's
I
all right.
keep doing that.
That's fine. That's fine. I do the same thing. But the thing is, we have to be Krishna conscious in both situations. That's the point. If you're Krishna consciousness in only certain situations, that means you haven't developed the proper consciousness yet to be able to see Krishna and worship Krishna in any and every circumstance. And you need to practice that. The easy formula is remember Krishna wherever you are, even when there is so many things going on around you. And whether you're directly involved or not, somehow you have to be somewhat connected to Krishna. And the way to remember Krishna, the way to connect to Krishna is to remember Krishna. That's all. It's easy to remember Krishna. Just when you say Hare Krishna, you're remembering Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you for mentioning that, because I always struggle with, why I am like that. So thank you for telling that.
No, you don't have to change your nature. That's all.
Yeah, it becomes difficult sometimes, because when you are not continuously able to interact, that's why I feel like that.
We use a very simple saying. They say, be yourself, but be Krishna conscious. You can't be like somebody else and expect that's what you have to follow. You can learn from other people to help build it on your own understanding of yourself, but you are who you are. You can't be anyone different. So you have to know, what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
Very nice question, Namrata. Thank you. Yes, Silpeshwar, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances of Lord Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, is it correct to say that our souls need relationships to give love and to be loved, as well as to serve?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. You're right. We're social beings. Because happiness is two. That's why Prabhupada would say the Gyanis, they can achieve Brahman realization and they enter into the Brahman effulgence. But in that Brahman effulgence, there's no one else, just them. The Prabhupada would say, just like I tell you, come here, okay, here's the thing. I'll give you all the money you want. I'll give you all of the material things you want. I'll give you an environment that is completely peaceful and very nice to be in there, but you're all alone. What would you think?
Not nice.
Yeah. Not nice. So you answered the question. We are, when we have something that makes us happy, one of the qualities of a human being is they want to share it with someone. It's automatic. That's just nature.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Silpesh Prabhu. Sridevi, I'm going to take this question in the chat and I'll come to you if that's okay with you. Yeah, okay. Maharaj, there's a question by Rishabhadas. He said, Dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances, Sogla Shishya Prabhupada. How to understand the difference between our nature being ourselves and our conditioned nature we need to change or transform to advance?
But conditioned nature is not your nature. It's just something that you have developed due to the association with matter. That conditioned nature will fall away as you make progress, and your real self will start to manifest. And there's symptoms as we make advancement in Krishna consciousness, there's different symptoms. These symptoms is that one starts to become peaceful. That peace is not dependent on circumstance. It's the peace that comes from within. Or one starts to feel happy. One becomes free from the desire to waste time doing material activities, no matter what they are. So all of these are symptomatic of how we grow in spiritual life. So the conditioned nature is what it is. It's conditional. So we have two natures, conditional and constitutional. Constitutional is something that has never changed. Conditional is something that comes, develops, and then transforms as we work through the conditional activities. So we want to get rid of that conditioned nature and become fixed in our constitutional nature. So a symptom of constitutional nature is the desire to serve. The stronger we have a desire to serve, the more we're moving towards our constitutional nature. Another symptom, which is a little more developed, is that we don't want to waste any time not doing Krishna consciousness. We want to use every moment for serving the Lord or serving the Lord's devotee. These are all symptomatics of how the conditioned nature is starting to, decrease. And when it's fully decreased, then that's called self-realization.
Maharaj, he said, so conditional means we try to be what we are not, even in devotional circles?
We can act in our conditional way. Yeah, we have that tendency because it's still there within our consciousness, within our ways of acting. So we have to learn to act. There is what is called Vaishnav etiquette. Vaishnav etiquette is the behavior of a Vaishnav in all aspects of association, different types of association. So therefore, Vaishnav etiquette is one of the more important principles to learn, the behavior of a devotee. When Arjuna asks, what is the symptom of a devotee? How does he walk? How does he talk? How does he see? What does he do? That's in the Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter. And then Krishna answers these, what is the symptoms of one who is moving towards transcendental consciousness. They're known, one of the main symptoms, they're not disturbed by happiness and distress.
I hope that helped, Rishab Prabhu. That's a very nice question. Thank you for asking that. Thank you. Sridevi, it's all yours.
Thank you, Ansuya. Guru Maharaj, when you were replying to Namrata, I was remembering this incident when I asked you many years ago. I was so new in Krishna consciousness. I asked, should I be like this person? Should I be like that person? Should I be like that person? And you told me, you be you and be Krishna conscious. And to me, that was so revelatory because I was thinking, I'm just so useless. I'm just so hopeless. There's nobody as bad as me. Maybe I should become like this person. Maybe I should become like that person. And then you just said, you be you and become Krishna conscious. So
You
just wanted
mean,
Namrata to hear that.
you mean you have your particular nature.
Right.
And if you use that nature in Krishna's service, it will develop nicely. People have different natures. You have to understand what is your nature and how to use it. If you don't know what your nature is, then ask someone who knows you. And the spiritual master also is required to guide the disciple according to how best they can serve, according to their nature. Not everyone can do every kind of service. People are inclined to service according to their nature. It's called their swadharma. That's the whole Varnashram Dharma system. There are people who have the natures of Brahminical natures. Others have natures of managers, kshatriyas. There's others who have natures of providers. Others who have natures to do various services. So there's different natures. So what is your nature and how to use it in Krishna consciousness? This is Prabhupada's program for development like that. When we first begin, we can do any service. And as we practice, we get inclined to a particular service based on our nature.
Thank you for the nice question too, Sri Devi. I mean, comment. Thank you so much. Really, really helps. Any other questions? Go ahead, Sri Devi.
Well, I was just saying, Guru Maharaj is always saving my life at every twist and turn. I just wanted you to know that, Anasuya.
Mine too, because whenever I hear questions and answers to my questions, I say, thank you, Krishna. I just thank the good Lord. I'm
Well,
so grateful.
Sri Devi doesn't give me any choice. I have to save her life or else the whole world will suffer, you know. And so,
Me too, Maharaj. That's why we always ask for your mercy and your blessings, Maharaj.
I'm not a lifesaver, but I have to somehow act like I am.
Maharaj, I mean, definitely the answer to my question for me was a lifesaver, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Really, really, really helped. Really, really does. Oh, wait, there's something else from Vrishabhadas. He just posted another question, I think. Oh, comment. How is this connection to the fact that Vaishnavas can do whatever it is needed for the Lord's service?
Yeah, that's true. But then, but still there is an inclination to serve in a certain way. So in any situation, a devotee will be ready to serve. But then again, you can't neglect the fact that we have our natures and we're inclined to serve in a certain way. And we excel when we work according to our nature. But for the sake of carrying on the society and carrying on the activities, we find ourselves doing whatever is required. But if you keep doing that only and you don't actually move towards your nature, then after some time, you will lose your enthusiasm for service. So, but of course, there is another principle, and that is those who are on the complete spiritual platform, for them, any service is service, they're fine. But we can't imitate that platform. But then you have what is called the administrative or the organizational aspect, that according to the organization, certain services must be done. And so sometimes we're asked to do services that we're not inclined to, but for the sake of carrying on the activities of the organization, of the yatra, of the temple, we do it because it's necessary.
Thank you, Marge. Thank you so much. Any other questions from devotees before And I'm just going down the list. Yes, Rajesh Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, yes. Maharaj, how do we know what our real nature is? Because I find that, like, ordinarily I would like be more introverted, but when it comes to like a festival, and I find like my favorite services are always the ones where I'm being loud and singing and dancing and greeting all the devotees and the visitors and giving them a warm welcome. And I just, so I kind of like feel that I don't know which one's my real nature.
Hare Krishna. Just keep going. Don't worry about it. It's not, it's, these are all activities of devotional service anyway. If you want to, you can study these principles through Prabhupada's lectures and books and get closer to understanding. You can ask your spiritual master, that will also help. And that is one of the direct ways. There's a nice book that has been released by two of our senior ladies in our movement called Career Dharma, which takes the whole idea of the four varnas into a very broad concept of explanations. And if you read and study that book, which is very difficult to do because it's very big, you'll get some insight on your own nature. But the easiest thing is to ask the spiritual master. That's easy. And they'll tell you.
Thank you, Maharaj. I'll ask you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raj Prabhu. Any other questions from devotees that you would like to ask? Please do raise your hand going down the list so I don't miss anyone. Let me check. If there isn't, Marge, would you like to end with a round of chanting? I know you must be in the middle of meetings in Mayapur.
Well, it's 7 o'clock here in the evening right now.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's so we had meetings all day. We're in a very interesting part of our program here where all of the senior devotees are meeting and discussing the movement. Today was the first day and there's 2 more days. So,
Oh, I thought the meeting started last week, Marge. No, it started today.
no, these are not GBC meetings.
Oh, okay.
These are meetings with devotees who are gurus,
Oh,
temple presidents, sannyasis, GBC.
huge.
Yeah. Today we were visited by the leader of the VHP, Vishnu, what is it? Vishnu Hindu Parishad. He was the leader. He was telling us about the history of the Ram temple and how so many devotees lost their life in order to regain that place. I mean, it was a real battle. Thousands of devotees were killed simply wanting to take back Ram's place. But eventually, I mean, he's a Kshatriya, this leader, and he's an elderly man, such a nice person. He spoke so amazing. And he came to Mayapur today and he said, I had such a wonderful experience here, especially meeting all the devotees. He said, I knew your organization was worldwide, but now I understand how big and how great your organization was. He was praising the devotees. It was such a heart-rendering speech that he made, and the devotees were really reciprocating with him. It was amazing because they fought, tooth and nail to get that place back. I mean, there were thousands of people who lost their lives in that battle, which was news that was never really broadcast to the outside world. 1,500 women were killed a whole group of sadhus were killed. All of them made stages to retake Ram's birthplace back after it had fallen into the hands of the other societies there. It's such a amazing battle. And of course, eventually, we took it to court and won the case, and now we have regained Ram's birthplace, which is really phenomenal because it's now the beginning of Dharma in a very powerful way in the world. Dharma is growing exponentially around the world now, and so many groups are coming together to actually, push real Dharma. And Ram's birthplace, Ram himself, is one of the leading components of this surge to bring about, worldwide Dharma. It's interesting what's happening right now in the world. It's quite phenomenal. If you come to India, you get firsthand experience. The rest of the world is just clamoring, fighting, and in so many different ways. But all of that will soon take a back seat as Dharma continues to grow.
Wow.
It's
Powerful,
interesting.
March.
Yeah, it's really powerful time. It's really a historical time in the world right now. So that's why it's incumbent upon everyone to really push up their Krishna consciousness even more. Because the sources of resistance are also fighting against it. So it's a very interesting time.
Like a tug of war.
Yeah.
Mm.
And more than that, it's like trying to hold back the door when someone's trying to break in.
Wow.
It's an interesting time. But this person he's an elderly man. He must be in his 70s, but he's the leader of the Vishnu Hindu Parishad. That's a powerful organization. And it's them that led the fight to reclaim Ram's birthplace, which wasn't easy. And to say the least, to say the word easy is not even a word. It was a real struggle. But now to move forward and bring Raj Ram to as many people as possible.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah, India remains the center of spirituality in the world, despite all of its influx of material activities coming from various Western programs. Still, the spirituality in India is powerful. It's growing. And hopefully, when the TOVP is done, it will flood. It says that Lord Chaitanya's mission will flood like raging rivers covering the whole world as soon as that TOVP is open to the world. That's one of the biggest phenomena in bringing Krishna consciousness to the world, is getting this temple built, because this temple was predicted by Lord Nityananda himself. He gave a tour to Jiva Goswami explaining soon there will be a grand temple in this area, which will become the center of the world.
Wow.
It's really powerful what's going on, but the forces of evil, which are still very prominent in the world, are still very much resisting whatever we can do. It's an interesting time. Take shelter of Krishna and the holy name, and whatever you can do in your area, come together, chant, have programs, have seminars, classes, associations. Just Now's the time to push Krishna consciousness more and more on an individual level, and then of course on a more communal level also,
Mhm.
social level. Radhanath Swami said something really amazing today. He said that the devotees were in Pune. This was during the book marathon during December. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj came. And he was really sick. He couldn't practically even walk. His health is really like deteriorated quite bad. So no one even expected him to come, but he did come. And no one expected him to speak, even though he was there, but he decided to speak and he spoke for an hour.
Wow.
And when he spoke, he made a declaration. He told all of the book distributors, distribute 700, was it? I think, what was the number? 700,000 books for the marathon. And this was at the beginning of it. He said, do 700,000. It's like an unbelievable number. Grand number. And just by his making that statement, the devotees did it. They did it.
They did it?
They did it.
Krishna.
It was amazing. Yeah, I have to get the exact statement from Radhanath Swami. The number was, I think, 700,000. Yeah, it was just so many books went out. Those books were flying. Devotees got, of course, there's like 200 or 300 or 400 brahmacharis there. Plus, that's only one temple. But collectively, yeah, they did this phenomenal amount of book distribution. Record-breaking. There's been record-breaking book distribution all around the world this year, everywhere. People are buying our books like crazy. Even in the UK. It's most interesting, those of you who are in the UK, one of the most insignificant and most discreet temples in the UK is the South London Temple. Raj is a part of that temple, South London Temple. And they're never in the charts as far as, up there. It's always Soho Street, Bhaktivedanta Manor, or Wales. They usually fight for the higher positions. And South London Temple doesn't even make the charts, what to speak of. This year, they came in 4th out of all of the temples in the whole UK. It's this little small temple. And they came in 4th. And who was it? Pragosh, who was somewhat involved with the management in this area. He's talking about it, and he's like, it's incredible. How is it possible that South London came in 4th place in the entire UK? It's just a little tiny temple. They got a few book distributors here and there. But somehow they did it. And the two leading book distributors were Vrindavan Nath and Satyabhama. The two people who are, Vrindavan Nath and Satyabhama. They host our programs.
Haribol!
Wow.
So joyful to hear this, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for sharing. Haribol!
Yeah, so this shows you that, miracles are happening. Devotees are, not they're getting out there, distributing books, preaching, doing whatever they can to enlighten the conditioned souls. And the thing is, the world is people are more receptive than ever to our message. I'm sitting here with one wonderful devotee. His name is Raj Mukunda. He developed this thing called Think Gita. It's a whole program of bringing people into the Gita. And more people are catching on, and there's more and more programs to teach people the Bhagavad Gita. It's another developing program in the UK also. So So there's a lot happening. So it's nice to get involved with some of these programs or do something on in your local area to preach Krishna conscious. It's exciting. It's becoming exciting.
Raj Prabhu, I want to hear how, would like to know what tricks, the trick of the trade that your temple got to number 4. That's amazing.
In the
So
whole,
inspiring.
the whole UK, that includes Scotland, that includes Wales, that includes all of the temples in the UK. And there's many. I don't know. To me, it's incredible.
Wow.
But devotees were going door to door.
Very hard work by Satyabhama and Vrindavan Prabhu.
Yeah, they did it.
Amazing.
Glorious service. Amazing.
That's just one small incident in the world is really, Krishna consciousness is moving fast. Because Lord Chaitanya is pushing this. Because Kali Yuga is really moving fast, eating up people's lives like crazy. The Lord Chaitanya is also moving fast, inspiring many more devotees to get involved, to preach, and to spread the Krishna consciousness. Through book distribution, through kirtan, harinam, seminars, classes, various programs of education, various programs of including people into different types of sanghas. And wherever you are, if there's something, you can always latch onto something or start something on your own.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah, this
Thank you
TOVP,
for that.
this TOVP is a very powerful punch. And it's like, Prabhupada used to say, like Prabhupada said, he used very strong language sometimes. He said, I just kick on the face of this whole Western society. The devotees say, yes, Prabhupada's kick, his punch is the TOVP. It's really, it's powerful. So you have to come and see it. I mean, it's inside is beautiful. You wouldn't believe it. It's beautiful. Still some work to do on the outside, but most of the inside is all complete. The temple room can hold 10,000 people.
Wow.
That's just the main temple room. Then you have the Nrsimha temple, which is next to that. That can hold another 5,000.
15,000.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Panchatattva as well, isn't it, Maharaj? The other
Huh?
one, that's another room, isn't it? But the Panchatattva one is another room, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
The Panchatattva is part of the main temple.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, and the temple will be, Panchatattva will be the center altar.
mhm.
On the right side, looking at the altar, will be Radha Madhava Astasaki. And then to the altar to the left will be the sadhus,
Oh,
the saint persons, the disciplic succession.
Okay.
Full dioramas of these different personalities, not just pictures, Just come to see this, just to see it as an experience. Excuse me.
amazing. Really amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Maharaj,
And-
would you go ahead, please, Maharaj, go ahead.
And the United States is also getting out of its out of its, what we say, laziness and moving forward. So many more programs in the US are also developing now. The US is also moving for everywhere in the world. There's an upsurge of Krishna consciousness. Everywhere.
Amazing.
Yeah, and Lord Chaitanya has a plan. He's in charge.
He is in charge, Maharaj. No
He's
doubt
God.
about that, Maharaj.
He's God. He's in charge.
He is in charge. Absolutely. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for giving us this really nice briefing update. It's so inspiring. So inspiring, you know, to hear these updates and the achievements. It's so inspiring. Thank you. Gives us more, you know, drive to continue in our service.
Yeah. Make your Rath Yatra this year a grand one.
Planning on that, Maharaj. Planning on that, because each year it's interesting because, you know, we've seen even on Sunday programs now slowly that the numbers are increasing. New batches of people are coming, new devotees. So like you said, Maharaj, Lord Chaitanya is really doing his work. Goranga, they're the boss. They're working it. They're working it.
Yeah. And people are also feeling the pressure and the misery of Western, you know, society, and how things are being really difficult just to live in the world now.
Mhm.
People are looking for alternatives. We got it.
Yes, we got it. No doubt. Absolutely, Maharaj. Amazing.
Okay, so Japa.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. I'm glad you said that because that's what I would have did anyway. Jai Sri Krishna. Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. 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 Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. 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 Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, 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 Krishna, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Thank you so much, Marge, for such a wonderful class. And thank you to all the devotees who asked really, really amazing questions. I think we had a really nice discussion with so many points from all angles. Thank you so much. And we thank all of you for joining us today. Vanchakraptabhyascha, Kripasindhubevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. His Holiness Candramauli Swami Ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Well, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow evening.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guru
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
everyone.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna,
Guru
Guru
Maharaj.
Maharaj. I
Hare
can't wait
Krishna.
to my Guru Maharaj.
I'm living at your place right now.
It's already yours. You were giving me on rent.
I'm cleaning it so when you come, it's ready.
I will be sooner than soon. I want to run. I want to fly.
It's possible.
Yes.
In Krishna consciousness, there anything is possible. Prabhupada said, he says, You all have the ability to fly. All you have to do is learn the art. That's you can fly, just like the birds, but you have to figure out. There's an art to it. You have to learn that art.
Interesting.
Well, if you're Krishna conscious, you already got a good head start.
Such
Seriously.
a auspicious time, Guru Maharaj. I can't believe you are going to initiate me. You decided to initiate me at this time. I mean, I felt like I'm so unqualified, and this is the time. Oh God, I don't even know how much, what mercy I'm going to get. Thank you for that. Extremely thank you.
All glory goes to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
You know, Namrata, what I was taught is when we feel that we are not qualified, that's when the Guru's mercy flows with the floodgates open. Can't stop it.
Okay. Yeah.
Guru Maharaj, may I ask how many of my god brothers and sisters are coming to get initiated?
We're not sure the number yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting to hear Namrata's new name next month. Can't wait or this month. That's what I'm waiting for. In like really. We'll wait.
He already has such a beautiful spirit. Namrata means humility, humbleness, meekness. Is that correct, Namrata? Namrata means that, right?
Yes.
Amazing. It's going to get even more beautiful. Waiting for that moment when I hear her name. Please, Sridevi, if you hear, you got to text me and let me know.
Immediately done. Your
Thank
wish
you.
is my command. I will send it right away to everybody, especially to you.
Thank you.
And put it in the group, Sridevi Mataji. Straight
Of
away, please.
course, immediately. I know for sure that all of you will be eagerly waiting, and so I will send it to the group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
We're just puppets, that's all. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Prabhupada
Hare
ki jai.
Jai Gurudev.
Hare
Jai
Hare Krishna.
Gurudev.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
So, yeah, for yet another wonderful, wonderful session. It just
I'm
wouldn't
just also a
be the same-
puppet.
No.
I'm also a puppet. I'm a puppet to the T.
Right. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj ki jai. I'll say that.
Jai.
I'm his puppet. I can see him using me anywhere and like a pendulum, literally. Completely.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, brilliant.
Thank you. Bye.
Hare